What is up, guys? Tony here with Games, and today we got a MirageGaogamon for BT13 for you guys. I was gonna make this deck in conjunction a while back, about a couple weeks ago, but like it just got lost in my archives. But it has been brought to my attention that Blue Flare isn't the superior blue deck, and if you guys can't, if you guys know about it, or you don't know about it, I'll put it summary here. If you ever guys feel like Genos versus Saitama, and he's sitting there as I give you the best shot, and yeah, this deck literally just gave me the fist. It was super bad. I got 2-0 completely. There's actually nothing I can do. There would be times where I can completely like knock out their security as fast as possible, and all they have to do is push out, go right into this guy right here, and just completely control the game right afterwards. But before I talk about any of that, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so we can check out our pro site at www.geekvideogames.com for all of our Digimon singles, Magic Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Without further ado, let's talk about our eggs. So it's a blue deck. We got Wanimons right here. Going forward, I think any blue deck I make is it's gonna have this egg right here. I don't think I'm gonna include Ubumon anymore because yeah, some decks like if you go, excuse me, if you're going against like Reaper decks, whatever, or like even Belfmon sometimes because they like having a lot of Digimon with those sources, it can work, but to guarantee card draw, this is the egg to go. And we've got our Gomons right here. This one in particular is kind of weird for BT11. On play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may pull one Digimon with Galgamon in its name, and one blue tamer, and then trash the rest. The trashing kind of sucks, so you do want to like hold on to like when you want to play this to add cards in your hand to see what you actually need, rather than just like spitballing this up. Because once you trash something, it's gone forever. Has a when attacking inheritable. If you have just have a tamer in play, you could return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to owner's hand, which is pretty nifty. Then we got this guy right here. When attacking, both players draw a card. So, like, if you already established a level 6 and you know you're going to level 7, you had this in the bag. You can go ahead and just push this. Swing with your level 6 first. Get some, inheritables like to go off game memory, whatever, or swing with this first to giving you more effects just to guarantee it by adding cards to your hand. It also has an alternative effect if you have 8 or more. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, you can gain plus 1,000. It's a really nice static plus that you can get in the mid game. Then we got this guy right here. Really good 3-drop because once like I said, like you have your main stack, you already expended your abilities, or you need to start using their abilities, whatever. I should say that. You go ahead and hard play this. Both player draw a card. You proc the effect, restand, gain X memory, all that fun jazz. Also has an inheritable when a card adds cards to your opponent's hand on your turn, gain 1 memory. That's it for the level 3s. You don't need to run anything else. You can run like Madokis or whatever, but if you're going against a mirror match, those level 3s don't really matter. Then we got this Galgamon right here. When Digivolving, return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to their hand. This is pretty nifty. So they have like something like Kazi against you or Madoki against you, whatever. You can just immediately put out your level 3s, go into this for 2, and just bounce it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Has a your turn effect when effect adds cards to your opponent's hand. Go ahead and gain 1 memory. So we have these 2 right here that gain memory. So you have these 2 in the stack going to level 5 and 6. You'll gain 2 memory, and then you have this Gao and this Galgamon right here has all static turns plus 1,000 if they have 8 or more cards. So these two are really good in the late game. This has a when Digivolving effect, and the only one so far I'm actually running a 4 of is if you don't have Thomas in your hand in play, go ahead and play one. You need to have Thomas out as ASAP, and you want to see this card be able to do so. And then lastly, for level 4s, we just run 2 hybrids. We got Lillimons right here. You can run any hybrid you want, but this one in particular has, when Digivolving, by placing a blue level 3 card from your hand as a bottom evolution of any one of your blue Digimon, this Digimon gains jamming. So you don't have to necessarily throw one of your sources under this Digimon to gain jamming. You go ahead and throw a source in already established level 5 going in, or level 6 stack. So you get more inheritables for your main stack just to give this Digimon jamming. Insane. Then we got this Met Gals right here. Only running 7 copies of the Met Gals. This is a deck that like you actually don't need 8. If you want to run 8, go ahead and adjust it to your liking, whatever. But for some reason, a lot of decks are running at 7 or even 6 copies. So there's a reason for that, I guess. So running the 7 here, and these are like when I get to the next one, you can see why I'm only choosing these 2. This one in particular, I'm running a 4 of because when Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon gains Blocker, which you only need to see for blue much. and the fact it gets plus 2,000 for every 4 cards in their hand. So as the later the game gets on, the more stuffed your opponent's hand becomes. This effect just gets infinitely better. I had it where I was, I already established a board, and my friend D just digivolved into this game plus 6,000. Like, what can I do? And it has an all turns, same as this level 5 right here, but this one has an effect. When an effect add card to your opponent's hand, you go ahead and restand this Digimon. And then we got this guy right here. When Digivolving, return when your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. You can see why like returning level 3s and level 4s is really bad against, the blue flare, because it wants to do a lot of on-play stuff, whatever, and this level 5 in particular just, completely craps on it. I'm even thinking like I may adjust the ratio of making this 4 and making this 3, just because like when you be playing blue flare, like every time I saw this card, it just bounces my level 4, so I can't like go ahead and just swing with it, stuff under my tamers, and then go ahead and cross into it. I can't do that with this card on the field. Has an inheritable. When attacking, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, you go ahead and restand this Digimon. So in the late game, you're always going to proc this off, and then on all times in the game, you go ahead and proc this one to restand this guy. Playing 4 copies of this MirageGao, this card is just very, very good for what it does. When Digivolving, return when your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. If you cannot do that, and nothing's returned by that effect, you can go ahead and add the top security to your hand. So it's a burn effect for blue. Holy crap. Then you get to automatically proc this when a card adds to your opponent's hand by any means necessary. You go ahead and gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. So kind of weak in the early game. If you go immediately into this, they only have like 4 or 5 cards going into the 6 or 7. They may even go up to 8 depending on how fast they're drawing, of course. But yeah, you go ahead and just gain a bunch of memory with this, and then you could go ahead and swing. Basically, before we go into this, you want to swing with this guy, or even this guy right here. If you get jamming, we do have Nikolai's to play with. So then you go into this guy right here, gain X memory, add either the security or a level 5 Digimon to go ahead and proc one of these 2 off. Most likely you'll proc this every single time you go into this stack right to immediately go into this stack right here. You can even pass turn. This card's a whopping 18k blocker if it's got plus 6,000 from their hand size, and it's a blocker. Nothing they can do about it. Or you can give blocker to this guy, which also has evade. When Digivolving, return one of your opponent's tamers to their hand. I only have this at 1 because even like I had this at 2 in play testing, it's like I would see this a little bit more than the actual other level 4 I want to see. And that's basically it. Like, that's the only when Digivolving part. You get to return a tamer to your hand. Cool. They could just go ahead and play it out later. Now, if your shop is like Crossheart heavy, Hunter heavy, or even Blue Flare heavy, yeah, I could see adding more cards to this list. Because if they have sources stuff on there, you can just return the tamer in hand. Those sources go into the trash. What can your opponent do? Absolutely nothing. Especially even returning the dual tamer, the one that can activate stuff from trash. Those are the ones you want to hit, and they have to play that for 4 memory again, which basically sucks up their whole turn. All turns, when cards are added to your opponent's hand, you go ahead and play 1 Thomas from your hand without paying that memory cost. So even if you have a couple out there, just keep playing more. Very, very, very powerful. And then for the best card in the deck is the Burst Mode. Running 3 copies of this because you definitely want to see them. You can burst for 0 by returning a Thomas from your hand on the field. When Digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon, and then gain X memory for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. Doesn't matter what level, put it away. This card's broke. Like, going to this is broken. Like, you can have an already established stack, and yeah, just gone. Then when attacking, it gets even better. If your opponent has 9 or more cards in their hand, by choosing cards at random until they have 8 cards in their hand, you could put them to deck bottom and then restand this Digimon. So, with this when attacking effect, that's all for a Digimon here, you get to abuse it with these Thomases right here. So with this one right here, is our memory setter for 4. This is the one you want to play out early or get cheeked out early as fast as possible. When one of your Digimon with Gao or Gaogamon in its same attacks, by suspend this tamer, both players draw a card. So you can go ahead, swing with this first, get those X cards out of hand to their 8, restand, swing with this immediately. While swinging with this, you're going to go ahead and tap this tamer, add a card to your hand to just take that one extra card in their hand, bottom deck it, they got back to 8, restand, and you're going to keep cycling this, right? Also, you have your inheritables here too to let you know all that. So like, you go into this, and this is like tap, like you swing with this, it's tapped, whatever. Then you go into this, add a card to their hand, proc this off to restand it, then swing with this, get to their 8 cards, restand it again, then swing with this, then activate your Thomases, and just keep restanding and swinging or whatever. And if you use up all those, and if you have more of these guys, this one's a main effect, but the on-play effect of it is draw a card. That's cool. Nothing. We need to worry about that. But if you have these out and you used up all your stuff, whatever, it's completely tapped. There's nothing you can do about it. If you got these guys to play, or you have the memory to play this, and then you immediately tap it, you go ahead and restand your Gaos. It's insane. And then we have our Nikolai's right here. Basically, we're having this because we need the jamming. Start a main phase when your Gao or Gaogamon's in name get jamming. And when cards added to your opponent's hand, go ahead and suspend this and gain a memory. That's pretty nifty. The jamming here is what we really need it for. The +1 memory is just, something on the side. Just, that sweet, gain extra memory. But mainly there for the jamming. Full Moon Meteor Impact. I thought this card was complete dog shit until it was played against me. When I was just like, turn 1, I Digivolve in the back and just immediately played on MirageGaogamon with +1 security and jamming. And I was like, if you got nothing for this, I'm going to beat you in 2 turns. D immediately just plays his heart for 8, and it's like, yeah. Yeah, is it my fault that I went that play immediately and he had to answer it that way? Sure. But, for 8 memory, he gave me 6. I couldn't come back from that. Like, I tried it again, and I just get bounced by something else. So, it is what it is. Return one of your opponent's Digimon to hand, doesn't matter what level, and then gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. Very, very powerful in the late game, because if they have 12 cards at max, you go ahead and bounce them, and you just gain back 3 memory for this, so it's effectively a 5 cost, which is really, really nice. Security Bomb effect, which is return one of your opponent's Digimon to hand, doesn't really matter, so basically I got Kakaidas, but a very, very powerful card. Now the Security Bomb we have, this is basically for the Rise Greymon matchup. Which has top 4 Divination cards on one of your opponent's Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn, and then your Digimon can attack if they have no sources. Hold this in your hand if you're going against Rise, or if they hit this in security, none of the Marcuses can attack anymore. You gotta hope that one of them hit versus X already before this thing happens. So, very, very powerful card for the Rise. But other than that, it's just there for stop Belfmon from attacking, of course, because that's another bad matchup for you is Belfmon, because they'll never have more than 6 cards unless they're doing something wrong. So, just keep that in mind. And then we got Blue Man Boost. Just reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add one blue Digimon card if you really need to find something. And gain 2 memory after the delay effect. But yeah. Excuse me. My voice is cracking up right there. This is basically the deck for you guys here. Like I said, I think this is going forward. Going to be one of my blue decks to play. After I get my butt spanked. That's the word I'm looking for by this. Not really going to retire Blue Flare. But if I want to play a blue deck, I know everyone's playing Crossheart or Digimon decks, and no one's playing Sekon or any kind of option-heavy decks, whatever. This is the deck to go for. In your shop, whatever, you do have those type of players that they're reliant on security bombs. Do not play this deck, because you'll never see the light of day going to level 6s, whatever, unless you're super, super lucky and you're swinging, and there's absolutely nothing in there for you to worry about. So there's that for you. Yeah. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, if you enjoyed these videos, and we'll see you guys